So with that, let me yield 5 minutes to Senator Joe Manchin. And again, we appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Chairman Arrington and Ranking Member Boyle, for providing me with the opportunity to appear before the House Budget Committee today, and all the members here. I appreciate being here. I'd also like to thank my friend, colleague, Senator Romney, for his dedication to seeking solutions for our nation's fiscal challenges, and thank you to the committee for steadfast commitment to improving our fiscal health. The Congressional Budget Act of 1974 sets a timeline for Congress to follow when it comes to the budget process. So we have it in law that by April the 15th of each year, Congress must, I'll repeat, must pass a budget resolution. And by September the 30th of each year, Congress must pass all 12 appropriations bills. Unfortunately, it's a timeline without any teeth. On September 30th, 1996, Congress passed all 12 appropriation bills for fiscal year 1997. As the committee is likely aware, the national debt at that time was $5.4 trillion. Today, we spend that much and more in 1 year, and the national debt exceeds $33.7 trillion. On August the 5th of 1997, Congress and President Clinton enacted the Balanced Budget Act of 1997, which was negotiated in a bipartisan way by then White House Chief of Staff Erskine Bowles and then House Budget Committee Chair John Kasich. Among other things, it set enforceable budget caps for fiscal year 1998 through 2002. What followed those bipartisan compromises were balanced budgets and surpluses of more than $550 billion. Unfortunately, the United States of America has not posted a surplus since. Over 22 years in the red. Every year, we spend more than we take in. There have been attempts to get us back on track. In 2010, the Simpson-Bowles Commission published recommendations that would have capped spending at 21% of GDP and reduced debt to 65% of GDP by 2020. Unfortunately, Congress refused to act for political reasons. On August 2011, Congress tried again with the Budget Control Act of 2011, which coupled a debt ceiling increase with a mandate of more than $2 trillion in cuts. Unfortunately, Congress again refused to act for political reasons, blowing through those caps and spending another $1.3 trillion more than we took in. Now it's too late for another warning. In 2011, Standard & Poor's downgraded the U.S. credit rating from a AAA to AA+. In the past few months alone, Fitch has followed suit, and Moody's Corporation is on the brink of its own downgrade. We are the only AAA-rated country in the world that does not have a multi-year fiscal planning process, the only one. We must reverse the catastrophic financial demise of our own making before it's too late. As evident by the chart behind me, in fiscal year 1997, revenues totaled $1.58 trillion and spending totaled $1.6 trillion. Fast forward to 2023, revenues totaled $4.4 trillion, while spending clocked in an astounding $6.13 trillion. Outside the fiscal years during COVID-19 pandemic, 2023 total deficit of $1.7 trillion was the highest in United States history. Let me repeat that. Last year's imbalance between spending and revenue was a record high. Years of fiscal irresponsibility have brought us to the crisis we face today, which is more than $33.75 trillion of national debt. In 2023, we spent more than $650 billion just on interest alone. By 2051, if we maintain this trajectory, the money that the federal government spends on interest to service the debt will be greater than what we spend on anything else, including defense, Social Security, Medicare. This is why Senator Romney and I, along with Senator Sinema, Young, Hickenlooper, Loomis, Warner, Cornyn, Tillis, and Shaheen, equally Democrats, equally Republicans, introduced the Fiscal Stability Act. More than 227 years ago, President George Washington warned. He warned of two things, really. The first thing he warned about is beware of the political parties, for they will usurp the power from the people. The political parties will usurp the power from the people. In his farewell address, he advised also against accumulation of debt, very much concerned. Fast forward to 2011, in one of my first hearings in the Senate, when I came to Washington, then chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff was Admiral Mike Mullen. I just came from governor. I didn't know a whole lot about on the national concerns that we had on national level with our defense. The question was asked, what's the greatest threat the United States of America faces? He didn't skip a beat, didn't waste a minute. He says, the national debt, the debt of this nation will take us down before any foreign adversary will take us down with their military might. He said, don't worry about the military might. We'll take ourselves down. And he was so right. So every family American understands this. And this is what we don't seem to get right. Every person in America understands that they have to live within their means. They can't figure out why we don't even try. So it makes the sacrifices today to give the children and their grandchildren a chance of life better than their own we're basically, we have just let our future generations, especially our children and grandchildren, we have let them down so drastically. We're the only we're the only generation that will turn it over worse than what we received it, much worse. So it's the American dream. We're in Congress. We have an obligation to get our finances in order so our children and all of them to come after will be in a stable situation, and the time to act is now. So I want to thank you all so much for having me, and I turn over to my dear friend from Utah, and he has the same passion I have for this.
Thank you.